I remember when I was a little kid, I could not wait to turn 16 and get my first car. I knew exactly what I wanted to. It was going to be the perfect rice rocket. I was going to get an Acura Integra, drop that home, huge rims, huge exhaust, and aluminum ring. I eventually got that car. So one day I was driving down the street, and being the asshole that I was swerving in and out of lanes, cutting people off. I think some guy got pissed off, because he pulled up next to me at the next light. He started cussing me out, and I was like, I don't need this. I just turned on my radio and ignored him. He kept honking. So I looked over, and he told me, "Go home! Go home!" I was like, this guy is so ignorant. Because my house was just down the street.
About like what I am and where I'm from, right? So I think one time in like the 4th or 5th grade, some girl asked me. So we get around to talking, and I end up telling her that I'm half Thai. Well, this like confuses the hell out of her for some reason. I don't even know why. So she goes, "Okay, so you're Thai. So you're from Taiwan?" I'm like, "No." My mom, she's from Thailand. And she goes, "Okay, so that means you're Thailandish." I said, "That's the ugliest word I've ever heard." I'm like, okay, so 4th or 5th grade, okay? We got into this big argument, probably like 5-10 minutes long. The thing that bothers me about it is I'm always having to explain stuff like this to people who don't even know. It's just so annoying because people are so ignorant.
Yeah, so I worked at the photo lab over the summer, and I just developed pictures, nothing exciting. But there's this one time, this lady came up to the counter, and she's looking for a print, so I gave her the prints, and she's thumbing through the prints, took out the one she wants to pay, and then she thumbs through this one, and it's got her son, and then his dojo master doing some kind of thing. I don't know what the hell they're doing. And she says to me, "Excuse me, could you tell me what they're doing here?" And I just so I just kind of looked at her, right, and said, "Look, lady, I have no clue what's going on. It's $6.99. And so she pays for her prints, right? And as she's walking away, I'm thinking to myself, what, just because I look Asian, I'm supposed to know all the martial arts, the kung fu, the taekwondo, the judo, the whatever you want to call it? It's just ridiculous.
There was this one time, not too long ago, my friend and I were having this conversation with this one girl, and this girl asked me, she goes, "So what are you?" And I told her, "Oh," I asked her, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "You know, what are you? Like, where are you from?" And I told her, "Oh, well, I'm from Virginia." And she goes, No, I mean, you know, where are you from?" And then I looked at her and I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You know, like, where are your parents from?" I was like, "Oh, well, they're from Korea." And she says, "Oh, Korea, that's in China, right?" I was like, "No! China and Korea are two totally different countries." And then she asked me, she goes, "There's a difference?" Basically, I had to sit there and teach this girl geography. I told her, "Look, take Europe. There's Switzerland, England, France, all different countries, but all European. Same with China, Korea, Vietnam, Philippines, Japan. They're all different, separate countries, but all Asian. It's so annoying how they always explain the obvious."
I had it pretty hard growing up because I didn't know any English. That's right, I was a pop. So when I started school, they instantly placed me in ESL and crammed all the English that they could into me. But it wasn't good enough that I was learning to speak English. I wasn't allowed to speak any Vietnamese either. One day, I asked my teacher how to say "nut gum," orange juice, in English. And she said to go in the corner. Confused and dumbfounded as to why I was being punished, I asked her why, and she said, "Shut up and go to sleep!"